Welcome back. In this video, I will show you the progress that we have made since the last full overview. So instead of calling this what it actually is, our Lego City update number 17, it would more precisely be full city update number 3. We made one as our very first video, and then we made one about 3 months ago. So I will show you what we have been up to since. The first part that has changed, and I will say most likely has changed the most, is this, the recreational area, the park, the camping area. We don't really have a complete name for it, but this down here. And if you've seen our last video, you can see that there has been added a lot more buildings, or 2, and there have been added a lot more trees. I think every single one of the trees that we have down here is from this time. It might be a couple, but at the moment we now have about 25 of the bigger trees, most of these kinds and a couple of these kinds. I do like these the best. Beside the trees, we have also added this little beauty, the Hocus Pocus house, which Mrs. Looney Bricks really wanted, so she, of course, had to get it. Before that, we got this one, and this little family house was originally here. So to accommodate the place or the space for this, we had to do a little rearrangement, which is why the first thing we did was we moved the path from down here, so about half a base plate moved up, and we moved the family house from here to here, so it still has a view or a path down to the river. And because of that layout change, it also meant that this had to move a bit. Before, it was going right here, and the horse jump was about right over here, and that of course had to change. And by moving the path, we got a bunch of space right here. We have also gotten a few new dogs. They are primarily taken from the park up here, but we did buy a few on Lego Pick-a-Brick with all the other orders. And you can see over here where we have the show jumping or the horse jumping. I know it's not a lot of space, but it's enough. The last thing, or the last important thing that we've done down here, is that we have ordered a few, or actually 100 more of these, so that we could fill out the rest of the river to go all the way up here. And before, we just had some flowers going beside this, and it didn't look completely filled or completely finished. This also meant that we now could put some more flowers and some more greenery close to the river bank. So now it just looks amazing. I don't know if I should put some of these. That's what can happen. I'm gonna fix that in a moment. But I don't know if I should put some over here as well, just to make it the same color. And that, of course, is the good thing about Lego. When it gets broken, it is very easy to fix. I might have changed, I don't remember if that was dark green on top, but it looks good. So that was the changes that we did with the park area. Absolutely the biggest, not necessarily the biggest amount of changes, but it has been the one that has changed layout the most, which has been put most pieces in. Actually not, but big pieces. So I really don't want to admit it, but I have always thought of this as being kind of just a filler for the city. And at the moment, it might actually be my favorite because of all the details. I think it has cost the equivalent of 1.5 modular to get all these pieces, and I don't regret it one bit. So let's see what else we've done. The other area that has changed, and maybe, as I said before, this was the one that had the most parts. I don't actually think that's true, but that's only because we have a lot of these new trees. Before, we only had the big tree, this one and this one, and I also think that, I'll just zoom in, that this one was in the city before, but now it has moved. That's also one of the things that we've changed, but I'm gonna come to that later. But yeah, we have gotten about 50 of these trees. A lot of them has been put into the park area, but a lot of them has also been put down here. Let me see if I can go through without knocking anything over. On each base plate, road plate of course, we have put a couple of these in. So down here, don't think I've put the lighting exactly how I wanted it. I'll just turn it around. That didn't help. If you can hear one of my dogs barking in the background, we're not doing anything. But yeah, we have put in trees here, and almost everywhere we're still missing some in the back row. With these trees, we have also gotten this little fellow, and he is missing from his owners, and therefore we have these missing posters. I think I'm gonna take one of these, if it's gonna go off like this. One of these missing posters, if I can get it to focus, like that. Sorry for the lighting. It's not, we're not good friends right now. Let me just try to do it like this. Yeah, we've gotten 8 of these. 3 of them are in the park area, and the rest of them are in the rest of the city. So a lot of trees, a lot of change up here. But let me show you the next. Another thing that has changed is that in the last video, we had a T-junction right there. Sorry, I'm zooming in. Didn't want to go in there. But we had a T-junction, which meant that we actually had kind of a road that didn't lead to anywhere. And we had a comment on one of our videos that we should make this into a parking lot for the hotel. So we did that, 4 parking spaces and the trees. And it looks absolutely amazing. So that was the changes that we have done to the upper level, but we are not done yet, so let's see. We are moving along a little bit to the left to see one of the areas that might be one of the biggest piece swallowers. This is maybe one of my best details, even though it's very one colored, or I know there's 2, but at this we got the last of the insides of the wall made, but the big showstopper would be that we all the way around the park and the walls have changed or added these fence pieces. Before, I'm just gonna take one of these. Before it was these that we had. Oops, it was these, and they were going all the way around the park, but stopped about there, and that meant that we couldn't really fulfill the last part. But now it's filled, and there are fence pieces all the way down, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. I think it's just a little detail, but it means a lot. Of course, we also changed something in the residential area. Might be a little less than the other places, but not important, I would say, at all. One of the things that we changed is the car wash, or we added the car wash. So now the gas station has its own car wash. I might change this at some point. I'm not completely happy about the placement, but of course there has to be somewhere where they can go in and they can go out. So it really should be at the front. I might put it up here so there's more room, yeah, in the back. But I have to figure out what I'm going to do there. The other thing that we have changed is that now we have gotten rid of those that were there before. We can use them for something else. So we have used them for fences at the residential houses. So around the True Apple Tree house and the Simpson house, it actually looks quite good right now. And then we have these two small things where it does look good, but it doesn't really fit, so I couldn't put more in behind here, and it looks a little bit weird, but I just have to figure out what to do with this. So these were the small changes for the residential area. We are up at the beach right now. The beach haven't had the biggest difference. A couple of things. One is this little boat. It was originally a gift with purchase. I think it's a couple of years old. We did get it at the time, but somehow I ended up giving it away, which meant that about 6 months ago, I really regretted it because I really wanted it to go in between the old fishing store and the lighthouse. So my sister was nice enough to find it on Facebook Marketplace for about, I think it's about $10, so it wasn't that much. So she bought it. Of course, it had been built before, but it is absolutely amazing. And the other change is that we got these dark, I wanted them to be dark tan, but now they are nougat. And that's because these pieces, pretty much as all of many of the other pieces I have, was on the pad wall. And I don't want to wait until I get dark sand. So this is good enough for me. So some changes has also happened here, but not a lot. And in the first video, this was the first place we showed. Now it's the last, and that's because pretty much the same as the last video, this haven't changed a bit in here. But this time there actually has been some changes, because we did order, or we did get about 250 of these, and I used about 150 of them up here, so I had 100 left. And I wanted to do some kind of a wall here, because it does look weird that you can just go from these guys' backyard right into the amusement park. So I wanted to do something, and I'm thinking how I'm gonna do it. If I'm gonna do it on the inside or I'm gonna do it on the outside. The outside is easier over here because of the bend, but the inside is easier over here because of that bend. So I have to figure out what I'm gonna do, but I like the fact that now we've done something at least. So that was the last part. And just because that was the last part that we've changed doesn't mean it still has part of the video. And just because we've done all these things doesn't mean that we are done changing the city. At some point, I might just go completely nuts and change everything. But my plans for the next update, I haven't ordered the pieces, so I don't know if I'm gonna do that or I'm gonna do something else. But I really want to get some tiles for the sidewalks in the upper level, pretty much the same as I've done here. Even though I still need to get some 1x to end off the sidewalk. But up here, I think I'm just gonna get some 2x2s in light gray, light bluish gray, to make it happen. But yeah, that was my video for today. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, I would very much like a like or a subscribe or maybe a comment for the city, what we have done, what you like, what you don't like. And until next time, bye.